Hey, what's going on YouTube? I'm the Mack of the GamerRealm, and I'm accompanied with my good buddy once again.
Wolverine 59 one of Gamers X here.
And welcome to S.M.A.R.T. That's right, you guys. Super, mega, awesome radio talk. Our topic for today, you guys.
Well, basically, WWE did their annual Spring Queening, which I always say, because, like, okay, Vince puts out so many wrestlers to put on the roster, and he just doesn't use them.
Exactly. And basically, like, this is like big time, quote unquote, spring cleaning. Like, this is like spring cleaning, like, to the max. Well, maybe not so much really into the max, but it's more of like something that just happened so drastically that it's so completely unexpected, yet it just happened. Like, just, it's one of those moments, well, that just happened. It really did. And it escalated very quickly. So pretty much they got rid of a bunch of superstars. Pretty much what ended up happening is that they had let go a lot of personnel in the WWE because of the situation at hand that we're currently dealing with in the world right now, and also due to financial reasons and everything like that in regards towards stock and everything like that. We are not exactly financial people, so we're not gonna go into the details with that. Basically, pick up on towards their resources.
Well, that's the day I was gonna choose economics for college, but for high school it was actually something for me to be real interested in, so I understand a little bit of the financial stuff.
Oh, okay. So pretty much, what had happened is that we have a list of people, and basically had gotten released as of basically today. Like, we just received word of this thing, like about, what is it, about 8 to 10 hours ago, something like that. It was earlier today. They were talking about it early in the morning. Okay, so I guess we'll just go on with the list right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
off the bat, we got Drake Maverick on the list.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and tell him who Drake Maverick is in the simplest terms possible.
Okay, when he was in TNA, he was Rockstar Spud. Then they changed him to Drake Maverick, and they put him as the general manager for 205 Live. And for a weird moment, have him as part of the AOP. And then somehow have him as a wrestler. They dropped him, and that sucks because 205 Live needs a general manager.
True.
And that's the problem with WWE right now. There's no general manager, which is hard to even pay attention to half of what's going on.
Well, yeah, because pretty much everybody's already doing everything by themselves, and they're kind of going about the rules, their own rules, and it's like, well, it's a little bit of chaos. You need somebody in there with a authoritative manner who's just going to basically be there on a daily basis and be like, hey, so this is how the matches are going to be, and you guys need to look up to me because management is looking at me, and you got to look at me as well. So so Drake Maverick, he's gone. We got Curt Hawkins. God,
he
had a really bad start throughout his whole career. He was teamed up with Zack Ryder. They became part of the Major Brothers, and they came out. It was pretty cool. Then they became the Edge Heads with Edge, and then after that, then they split around doing their own deals with their own gimmicks. And then they reformed together. But during the independent circuiting, you had Curt Hawkins basically had a losing streak of, God, I don't know how many, like 300 plus losses, and he barely won one match. But that was only because he was tag team with his old partner of Zack Ryder. But I'm like, you know what, whatever, who cares? But either way, Then they won the tag team championships, but then ever since then, they basically started burying him, and now he's gone, which makes me very upset.
And that's the thing. Okay, he could have had they could have gone to SmackDown, have the tag team titles over there, because they need more tag teams over in SmackDown anyway.
They do, yeah. And then we have.
And we should add to this.
Sure, go ahead.
The only bright spot to that is now they get to post AEW stuff onto their channel without feeling guilty.
True.
Because they do WWE figures and all that.
Right. Next we have, I'll go ahead and just put them together because they are together. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers, are basically the Bullet Club, so to speak, from New Japan Wrestling. Oh my God! So they came out when it first came out. I mean, I don't know the whole story about Carl Anderson, but I do know the story about with Luke Gallows. So when Luke Gallows came out, he was first back in, I think it was 2000. About 2006 to about 2008, he was Festus at the time. This weird gimmick of like hillbilly Jack kind of style. And so then what ended up happening was that, you know, he would only go crazy when the bell rang. And then after that, then he would just kind of go back to his usual like self. So then they got rid of him. Then he came back, and then he became then he became Luke Gallows. And he ended up having a gimmick with CM Punk, with part of the Straight Edge Society. Then they got rid of him again. He moved over to the New Japan, became part of the Bullet Club over there, and then now they're back here, and now they're gone.
Which we kind of figured anyway.
Yeah.
But
you know that they never had a championship reign while they were here, or did they? I know. Did they? They had to have won the championships at least once, and then they lost them.
I think that was probably it. Better than that is like Paul Heyman. He's a huge Bullet Club fan, and he really wanted to utilize them. But somebody tells me Vince does what he does best is micromanage.
Yeah, it's really just becoming a really big thorn in the side. Where they're saying all these people let go all out of the blue. I mean, I understand. I mean, a little bit of the situation in regards towards it, but it's pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of these people who had really good young talent that were really raring to go, and then they just got let go right then and there before they even had a chance to do much. Like EC3, he's the next guy on the list right now. So EC3, Leo Rush, and Eric Young. Oh, really, Eric Young? Oh God, and Heath Slater. So like all four of these guys are basically. They're below the mid card. They're like borderline lower card to mid card. They're not exactly mid card. Mid card level basically means that you're already winning out championships with the U.S. title or the North American Championship, or you're winning with the Intercontinental Championship, the U.S. title, all that stuff. You know, or hell, even tag team championships, in which they barely even did any of that. EC3, he was just a guy focused on himself in the mirror and the abs, which I find it very bad because he actually only wrestled like 3 times in his career. I think it was maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, he was utilized heavily in TNA when I started watching TNA again.
Exactly. And then, you know, Eric Young, Leo Rush was teamed up with Bobby Lashley, and then he became a champion again. I think it was on the 205 Live, or no?
Yeah.
Was it on 205 Live? He became the new cruiserweight champion.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And now it's like, come on, he had it. He was amazing in the ring. He had amazing promos. I was enjoying his face run.
What did they call him?
The Man of the Hour.
That's right, Man of the Hour. Damn. You know how powerful that sounds? It's like, was it Man of the Hour? Yeah. It's basically like, here I am, get ready, because here I come, you know? I mean, that's pretty deep. Eric Young was part of the Sanity thing.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaky. I wanted to see more of that, but because they broke them up, it was just so bad. Heath Slater, same thing. He was a
Well,
tag team champion with Rhino, which was okay. I was happy for them, but then after a while, it just kind of died itself down. You could see it trickling down into where basically they had no use for Heath Slater at all. And he came out on NXT when it first started, when he was part of the with the Nexus, and then they disbanded.
True. I mean, but they could give him better stuff to work with, because if I can take him seriously, when they were doing the brand split and he was the only one that never got called up, he was, I'm like, yeah, no, you just, I mean, I understand that I got kids gimmick and everything, but it just didn't work.
Right. And then we have Aiden English, Kurt Angle, Sarah Logan, and Kairi Sane. So let's just go off with that chunk there. So Aiden English was with Rusev. Before that, he was part of the what do they call him? It was Carnival folk.
The Vol Villains.
Vol Villains. That was pretty cool. Who was he teamed up with again?
Simon Gotch, and then Simon Gotch quit. And then
he quit for probably for the same reason, more or less.
Well, mainly because he hit Enzo.
Yeah, that too. And Enzo was really bad, but that's another story.
Well, not all of it was bad. The only thing was bad was him acting like a jerk in the bus. But the other stuff that went on, turns out he was falsely accused for that stuff.
Oh wow!
So, I hope he gets the legal battle won if he is going to pursue that part.
True.
So,
Kurt Angle. Everybody knows Kurt Angle. We don't have to go into explanations with Kurt Angle, but it's weird how he's bounced around from all over the place. He was in TNA. I think he was on Ring of Honor too. I'm not too sure. And they had him in the Olympics, of course. This guy, and then they brought him back as a GM, and then they just slowly just started killing him off, and then they just got rid of him.
Well, he could have still stuck being a GM while being a Hall of Famer for a couple more years.
True. Yeah. Sarah Logan, she's part of the Riot Squad. God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, she had a lot of potential headed her way, and then they just killed her off right then and there. Hell, I mean, she was in a freaking Elimination Chamber, and then they couldn't even boost her up from it after that. And then they just like, oh, okay, we're done with you. That was stupid. Kairi Sane, same thing. She just became a champion. She lost it at WrestleMania, and then they just got rid of her right then and there. They figured, we don't need her.
Well, actually, because she got married, I think she's eyeing other places for the moment. So who knows? She probably requested to be cut.
Well, she was so misused. She was so misused.
Oh yeah.
Like they had everything that they could have had possible for her. She basically could have been like Rio. Not to compare the two, but I'm just saying she could have been like how Rio is, because Rio has a good thing going for her on AEW right now. She could have been like that, but no, they completely sidetracked it completely. We got Peyton Royce. You know, I'm surprised with the Peyton Royce that they don't have
Billy Kay.
Billy Kay, yeah. So what's going on there with that? Maybe they'll just have Billy Kay be on an independent circuit, or maybe they'll just have the Iconics both together. They just didn't mention Billy Kay at the time. They just said Peyton Royce, which I actually like Peyton Royce. Yeah. But you know, I mean, they were tag team champions, and they were actually set to be coming back, but then they put them on the shelf so they could work on them. But I guess they didn't get it done in time, and so then they just got rid of her. That was pretty upsetting. Ruby Riott, the head of the Riott Squad. Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis. I hated this.
They barely put Ruby Riott for a storyline, and they just cut her.
Yeah. No, and they just brought her back too. They just brought her back. I mean, hell, she was in Elimination Chamber, and then as soon as you bring her back, then they kill her off before they even have a chance to give her a proper storyline, before they have to give her a chance to basically come back after her injury, because she had an injury, and then they just got rid of her. I don't know if it's because of budget cuts, financial reasons here. We'll read that in a minute. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, with Mike and Maria, yeah, they did request that they were gonna leave, so.
Yeah. Mike and Maria Kanellis, yeah. Eric Rowan. I hope he goes back over to. I hope he goes over to AEW, like you said, with
Brody Lee and
yes, aka Luke Harper.
Who knows if he because okay, talk is Jericho. He has to go on there, and if he has any beef with Vince, he has to say, and that way he could do like Brody Lee is doing right now.
True.
I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, I didn't think they were gonna do. Oh, it's a giant spider that he had in the cage. I thought it was gonna be a huge kimono dragon, but
yeah, no, it wasn't. No.
Well, we hardly seen Primo and Epico anyway.
Yeah, I know. I miss how the colognes used to be way back then, but I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And then they got rid of WWE producers and trainers backstage and everything like that. So they got rid of Finlay. God, I hope he goes over to AEW. He'd be amazing over there with Arn Anderson. He would be awesome over there with him. Mike Rotunda. Which one was Mike Rotunda?
The name sounds familiar, but
I think it was a ref. He was a ref.
Oh yeah.
He was a senior referee, something like that. God. And then they got rid of Hurricane Helms, Lance Storm, which was stupid, but whatever. Pat Buck, I'm not sure who that is. Billy Kidman, Sean Daivari, Scott Armstrong. Oh, they got rid of Scott Armstrong. He was a good ref.
I know.
And Mike Chidoa and Sarah Stock. Wait, who's Sarah Stock?
I don't know. That's the thing that should stick to me, but I don't know.
Alright, hold on a minute. I'm gonna look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just some random person. It's just a Canadian wrestler. She was on NXT, I believe it was, or she was about to. She was about to go into NXT.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, oh, and Rusev.
Yeah, they got rid of Rusev as well, and you know what? And also, they're making up all this stuff coming through. Like EC3 is going to go over to AEW. The Rusev's going over to Impact. Did you know that? Did you know that with basically Sean Ross, sapofrightful.com, or Sean Ross Sap on Twitter.
Yeah.
So he states Frightful has learned to know that Dione Perazzo has been released by WWE. So apparently that person also ended up getting released out from WWE. And you also end up having other people, like with Sin Cara, who basically stated on his Twitter, this is the reason why I had left. This reason right now is why I had left ahead of time before everybody else.
Yeah, Vince doesn't get it. That's his problem.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what Eric Bischoff did.
Yeah, it is. This is exactly what Eric Bischoff did. He got rid of all those guys, and you know what happened when what's his name? When God, I forgot his name. What's Vince's son's name? Stupid idiot.
Shane.
There we go. Yeah, whatever his name is. So Shane McMahon. So when Shane McMahon went on to WCW, and then Vince bought him out afterwards, and then so he got rid of all the old talent right after doing that, and then signed him up under WWE contracts. Oh my God! Like he got rid of a whole bunch of people just because of that. So this isn't the first time this has happened. David Finlay, he says speechless on Twitter. He's got like over 566 likes onto that, probably even more. Oh, and then they got rid of No Way Jose, also.
Vince. Okay, this is where Vince has to really start looking at the roster, start doing better. He has stopped adding so much.
You know what's really sad? Sorry to cut you off right there.
Yeah.
No Way Jose had a match last night. Even though he lost against Bobby Lashley, it's like he did a good loss, but then they got rid of him anyways. It's like, oh my God. Like,
I know.
He boosted up Bobby Lashley, which is what I'm pretty sure what Vince wants, and yet he couldn't even take that. You're like, okay, you're done. Like he threw him out like yesterday's trash. It was pretty bad.
This is why Triple H is the better manager, the better way of things. He's not micromanaging. He's not adding a whole lot. He's slowing things down on NXT.
True. We got other sources out here. Basically, some people have some clarification that it's been reported that some of these firings may actually be classified as furloughs. It means that they would basically receive no pay, no work, but not technically fired. They could be rehired once things start up again. So hopefully we'll find out if these things are actually true. And maybe it's not guaranteed concrete. But even then, that is just the weirdest way to approach it. That you have this whole list of people, and you're probably going to have half of them that are going to go off someplace else, and the other ones might maybe come back, or they'll just go ahead and do independent circuiting. But basically, you have Maverick and Rusev at the club, and Kanelli. They're gone for good. They don't want to be coming back. They're like, shoot. And well, I mean, they loved being there, but Vince didn't want him there at all. Like he was already done with them from the start. And then you also have according to WrestleNomics on Twitter, which I follow, who does a lot of the financial analyses. So apparently WWE had a cushion of $500 million despite the situation at hand, despite the XFL losses. So with the releases, they were strictly under the quarterly profit targets, just so they can look good in front of their investors. That's the only reason why they did that. So, and then pretty much either after NXT, when it airs tonight or tomorrow, you have a ton of layoffs from NXT. And probably the same goes for SmackDown, because they've already taken care of Raw. So, basically, like, you got a few people, like, I'm pretty sure that a majority of these people were from Raw. A couple from SmackDown, yes, but mainly out from Raw and from in basically the backstage. You're going to get a ton of them out from SmackDown, which is going to kind of raise questions in regards towards the draft. So when the draft comes in, you're going to kind of wonder, like, how is this going to work now with this going on? I mean, first you have empty arenas, and then you have hopefully the crowds coming back. I mean, how do you think the crowds are going to react once they all come back to the filled up arenas? How they're going to react to all the superstars that got let go?
Oh, they're gonna be pissed.
They're gonna riot.
I mean, I was just watching NXT a few hours ago, and I'm not sure if Akira Tozawa is on the private part yet, but if they're gonna cut him, then he's not gonna get that cruiserweight title back. But if they get rid of Kushida, that's a big misstep.
Oh yeah, that's very, very bad. That is beyond bad, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our viewers that are watching this right now could definitely agree with that. If you guys agree with that, feel free to go ahead and give any feedback on towards that. We'd very much appreciate it. All right, guys. So I mean that basically is going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. But I mean, we're going to obviously get more of an updated list with the days to come. I mean, this is probably just part 1 of the list, which if it ends up being a part 2 or something like that, more or less likely for Friday Night SmackDown, or even possibly tomorrow, they'll probably give out some more notices, possibly for people from NXT or something like that. That we'll give you guys up-to-date information. We'll run another podcast here of the remainders. More or less likely, we'll go ahead and do that. We should talk about it like on Friday. Actually, we should talk about it more on Saturday night. Like if something happens for tonight, let's say on NXT, and they'll go ahead and give any feedback onto that, and we'll go ahead and we'll run a quick podcast onto that, or more or less, we'll go ahead and wait until Saturday, if anything, and then we'll basically just say, hey, this was at the end of the list, or we'll just be like, hey, there's more people here, because right now there's more people even as we speak. They're already getting tweeted on. There's a lot of predictions out there. I would like to see Cesaro leave. I mean, by choice, because he's definitely been misused. Like, when was the last time he was ever a champion?
Never. That's the thing. Vince sees him as boring.
Yeah, I know. Which is ridiculous, because you see the way... do you realize that guy is jacked? Like, you could chisel him out of marble. He's that athletic.
He can do a singles run indefinitely, but they keep pushing for the tag team run, and it's like,
he's better than that. He could go mid-card title reign as much as he wants to. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if he became the NXT champion if he wanted to, but I mean, fat chance that's going to happen.
What Vince is doing, he's already getting all of MLW promoters, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Impact. He's having all these wrestling promotions snagging up all of his best people.
Oh yeah, so pretty much, I mean, I'm pretty sure that AEW started getting some phone calls right up, and they probably were like, hey, so we're going to go ahead and take about a few of your guys. But the problem is that AEW they're not really in any position to go ahead and start jumping a whole bunch of people in there when they've already got pretty much a full roster themselves, that they're still trying to get the new talent to come in. Like, they've already got their tag team division good, but they need to bring the Hardys in. They need to bring in Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows in. Get them set up to go. And if you can imagine about what happened on Impact, if you bring Rusev to Impact, that'd be fine. If you put EC3, please change his name, if anything. But EC3 should be fine. But whatever.
He was called Ethan Carter the Dirt on TNA, and they shortened it to EC3 while he was still there, and he carried it over when he was on in NXT.
Well, if they change that over to EC3 on AEW, then it should be a problem. If they move him over to AEW, because they could turn him heel and have him quite possibly work with MJF. Do you realize how much of an impact that would be right off the bat?
Oh yeah, and
that would be huge. That would be awesome. I would love that.
They're gonna try and keep Jeff Hardy happy on WWE. That way he never leaves. But yet that's Vince's problem right there, because he could have kept Matt happy by giving him all the creative freedom that he could have had, and that's why he said in the Talk Is Jericho podcast, I would rather have Triple H, because he would have let me have my creative freedom. I talked about it in my video. I mean, it's simple. It's why John Moxley left.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. This is ridiculous. I see no end to this happening, and especially with Money in the Bank coming around the corner, which, by the way, you guys, we're going to go ahead and do a podcast onto that. We're going to go ahead and do a podcast on towards that. We'll do a couple more podcasts later. But, that's basically it. And any other information that you guys want to, you guys could hit us up. You could check us out on our Twitter. And you could check us out on our Discord. We're talking about it still right now on our Discord. It's ridiculous how this is all going on. We're basically putting our thoughts in there. So if you guys want to check us out, but we're basically going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Yeah. But follow us out here, you guys. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Check us out on both of our stuff, you guys. We got some pretty awesome content. Give out your shout out your support. How much likes do you think we might maybe hopefully hit on towards this thing?
Maybe 200.
That's kind of high there. All right, let's try for at least 20 likes. If we could get at least 20 likes on this thing, we could talk about it more with people. At least try off with 20 likes. If you want to shoot for 200, feel free. Yeah, let's try to do 200. I don't know, but let's start off with small first, and hopefully work its way itself in. But that'll basically do it, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. With all of us here, I've been the Mack.
Wolverine 59 of Gamers X.
And thank you for joining in, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast. Bye.